my God, the camera looks so weird. This is so weird. Okay, so the light is so bright in here. I think that's why the camera's having trouble with seeing me better. All right. So let's go ahead and do the energy report. Maybe I can do something about this brightness. Maybe a focused light. Nope. It's so bright in here. All right. Whatever. I'm just gonna let it happen. All right. So it doesn't matter if you can see my face anyway. So, geez, I'm even like, okay, this is great. Let me push that away a little bit. Okay. So fucking bright. Okay. So let's see. We're going to do the energy report. We're going to do it with the animal guides. Animal guides have been coming in a lot more lately due to the changing of the weather. They're preparing for winter, getting everything situated, harvesting what they need to harvest for their food, hiding things in the backyard, like I see all these squirrels doing and all these birds hiding all kinds of things, little food so they could scramble and grab them after they do their little hibernation. Okay, so and there's still a lot of birds here because it's still kind of warm. It's like about 70s. It's staying steady 70 degrees out here, even though it's been raining and it's been really, really cloudy. Hello. And so yeah, so let's see what the animals have to say because they've been coming in and out lately. Been having a lot of interactions with them. Today, for example, let me tell you about this morning. So I was taking my daughter to school. I usually leave here at 6:45 because she starts at 7:20. So I was taking her, she's getting in the car and then she's like, oh, look, there's a rabbit that lives in our yard. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a rabbit. There's a rabbit that lives in our yard. He's been living here for well over a year. He's getting bigger. At first he was a little bunny. Now he's kind of huge. And so when I started to get out of the garage, he just froze. And I was like, okay, are you going to move or what? Like, what am I doing here? And so I waited for him and I started inching closer and closer and closer. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to just roll down my window and I'm just going to tell him to get the hell out of the way. And I was like, what's your problem? I was like, hey, what's your deal, dude? Get out of the way, move out of the way. And he didn't move, he didn't want to move. And I'm just like inching closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, look, I don't want to bring you over, but I need to take my daughter to school. So you need to move out of the way, okay, buddy? And then he like kind of like looked like side to side and then he took off into the neighbor's yard and I'm like, thank God this dude is like left. And so we took off and I dropped her off at school. I think it was just kind of like a little bit of a like, hey, chill out type of moment, like take time to pause or something. At least that's what I got from the message. And because when I got back, I did a meditation real quick and I fell asleep. Usually happens when I have to pause or something. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what animals we get for this messages of this actual week's energy. Ooh, wow, we're getting a lot of water and a lot of earth energy. Just FYI. Oh, shit. I'm like, oh, because I've never seen this card before in this reading. So this is pretty cool. All right, so we got two animals. One is a land animal and the other one's a water / land animal. Okay, so the first one we got for Monday and Tuesday and we have a bear. Let me see if I can sort of show you guys. There he is. There's the little bear. All right, so it's so bright in here, I just can't show you all of this. So bear energy, bear medicine. It's about harvesting, but taking your time too. Okay, like I know the winter's coming. Bears are usually slower than other animals to harvest because they've been already putting on the pounds all year long, right? They've been stuffing their faces all year long, already preparing for the winter the whole entire year. So that's a lengthy amount of time for them to harvest or to prepare themselves for the transition that they're going into for the winter, for hibernation, right? And so for you guys, it feels like this is kind of like the ending of the slow and steady movement into winter, because it is the ending of, Saturn that just went direct. So Saturn in retrograde, it ended today, which is perfect. So this is kind of like a perfect little analogy. It's like all that you have been building ever since Saturn went retrograde, in between all that slow movement, all of that work that you've been gathering, all that, I would say, all the extra pounds you've been gathering. But it's not like actual physical, you know what I mean? It's more like spiritual energy, correcting your plans and goals and things like that, accumulating information, accumulation of energy, an accumulation of understanding and wisdom throughout this entirety has brought you to this point now that you have to prepare for the changes that you've wanted this this whole time, right? And so that's what Bear was telling us. It's like all that slow and steady movement was worth it, because now you're ready for the transition. Now you're ready for those changes. Now you're ready for that prosperity to come in, okay? The abundance, that new love life, that new you, okay? So moving on, we have Wednesday and Thursday, we have Beaver. If you guys can see the little beaver there. There you go. Oh, little beaver. So this is an aquatic slash earth being. Okay. So even though they go and gather their timber and all the wood and things like that to build their dams, they still live in the water. They're still much more agile in the water. Okay. And so all that hard work of building up resistance, such as the tides, resisting the tides, resisting the flow of the river, the forces of nature that are pushing you forward. And now you're building a home. Now you're building something solid in order for it to just go, like, even though they build dams, they still let a little bit of water in and out. Okay. It doesn't just stay stagnant. It doesn't just stop completely. There's still crevices that the water can flow freely through. Like when they gather their food, for example, there's still crevices that they can flow, the fish can flow through, and so that they could snatch them up and eat them, right? So that's what it is. It's like, yes, you have built something here, but there's still flow. There's still movement forward. It's slower than a rushing river, but it's still movement at its core. Okay. And so that's what Beaver teaches us, is the patience that comes with building something and then waiting for it to come through, like they waiting there for. I always feel like there's this like house energy too, where home changes in the home you've been building up for, you've been saving up for, and now they're coming through slow and steady. Okay. So moving on to the Phoenix, and this is why I was laughing, because I was like, we got the Phoenix card. The Phoenix energy, and my freaking weird color going on with the actual camera having a problem with the color or whatever. Let me just try to show you guys. There you go. Phoenix energy. All right. So here we go. Phoenix energy is a rebirthing of things, but it's also kind of like a ending. Okay, so the ending, going through the fire, a purification. The fire the Phoenix goes through is purification, transmutation, alchemization. Okay, that's what this is. That's what the Phoenix is all about, is alchemizing your energy from one stage to the next. Okay. And so that's what this is all about, is the changes that are coming, and through the Phoenix energy, they're rapid. Okay. So everything that the bear and the beaver the dam being the home, but the bear has been building throughout the year and finally getting it, accomplished in the home, as it manifests in the home, in your surroundings, in your own stability, in your own foundation, then it's rapid changes from here on out. So for the weekend, you're going to feel the rapid changes. You're going to feel how Saturn has assisted you through this retrograde, through the slow climb, through the building of the foundation, through the establishing of your goals and the modifications that needed to come with them, into the transformation that you desire finally coming in. Okay, the fruition of everything that you accumulated throughout the Saturn retrograde, and to finally to the perfection that you've wanted so far. Okay, so this is what we have for this week's energy, you guys. This is very awesome energy. I think this is very powerful because we have a universal energy, which is the circle of life, or the circle, or the actual shape of itself is universal. It represents the whole of creation. Okay, and then we have the earth element and the water element represented in combination. And so I feel like going into this new Saturn direct energy was going to be beneficial for all of you guys who have been like the bear, have been building things slow instead of, and then finally seeing the achievements of the beaver through the dam, through the work at home, and then finally actualizing it through the changes that you went through as the phoenix. Okay, so that's what I have for this week's energy. Okay, let's see what else. So another thing that I wanted to kind of like emphasize is, I know a lot of people probably have felt the changes that come with Libra season, and also the realization that sometimes, unfortunately, we tend to be less independent in Libra season, like especially if we're in a relationship with someone. It's like it's it's a balancing act for sure. If you're in a relationship with someone, or you have a friendship that you're really close to, it's kind of like making sure that you're not falling into that enmeshment energy where you neglect yourself in order for you to have, or to put in a lot of the energy into that relationship, into molding it, into supporting it, into backing it up. It's like it's about independent thought here, okay? And not allowing that Libra thing that happens with Libras when they get into relationships where they're fucking enmeshed with these partners. They become the partner, or they become someone that the partner wants, you know, not really themselves, and they hide away from people who actually know them, and they neglect their friendships, they neglect some of their duties, some of their responsibility, because they're so enthralled with wanting to create this life, fantasy life with this partner, until that honeymoon phase is over, and then that's when they're like, oh shit, like this guy or this girl sucks. I can't believe I wasted all this time with them and I neglected all my friends, you know. It happens a lot, okay? So if you guys are going through that where you're like, oh my God, I'm so enthusiastic about this relationship, don't neglect your family or your friends. Don't neglect yourself. That's the one more thing. Like, I think that's the most important lesson that Libras have taught us is never neglect yourself. Never reject who you really are. Don't pretend to be someone that you're not, you know, because they're very much go with the flow, but meaning go with the what's going on in the environment type of thing. Like who they're with, they're gonna pretend to be a part of that crowd, you know, to coexist with them because they don't want to rock the boat. So don't do that. Don't have independent thought. Don't do that to yourself. Don't neglect who you are in order for you to make other people happy. Okay, very, very important for this Libra season. And I think this is one of the biggest things that I've noticed about people that have heavy Libra aspects, is that they do that, unfortunately. And then they find out the hard way, you know, like, why am I like wasting my time with this loser? Or why am I, you know, pretending to be someone I'm not? just to make this motherfucker happy. You know, like that's what I've noticed with Libras. And it doesn't mean that they don't ever learn. It just means that they learn at a cost. You know, they learn after like some type of disappointment, some type of rejection, some type of like just harsh truths that come to light. You know, within their relationships, unfortunately. And I feel like that's just what they're supposed to learn, of course, but I feel like that can be prevented by listening to yourself, right? By listening to your needs. Like the first red flag that came up, Libra, listen. Okay. Can do it, listen to it. Don't just be like, oh, they're probably just going through a hard time and their heart has been broken and I'm here to save them and make them know what real love is. Right? That's what Libras do. They're saviors. They have that savior complex too. But don't let that happen. You know, the red flag, learn from it. You know, right away, just be like, whoa, 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 whoa. This person sounds like that other person that screwed me over. And so I'm just going to be like, okay, you know what? I have to remember that not everybody is like me, right? Libra, not everyone is like you. Not everyone has that mentality of like, let's give people a second chance. Let's give people the benefit of the doubt. No, they know that you're doing that. That's why they're gonna get the fuck out. Like they're gonna get away with murder with you because they know that you're gonna give them a second chance. They know you're gonna be willing to love them no matter what, you know. And so, it's very important, Libras or heavy Libra aspect people, to not do that to yourself because that's what Saturn is all about, is closing those cycles, right? Closing those toxic cycles within relationships too. And it's not just with romantic partnerships, it's with friendships. Okay, friendships is one of the hardest lessons that Libras have to learn too. I think it goes hand in hand with relationships. Like when they have friendships, they have, unfortunately, they attract toxic people. Unfortunately, they attract broken people, right? And the same thing happens in relationships because Libras are loving people. They're loving, genuinely loving people, and they do want the best for everyone, and they do believe that people are like them that want the same thing, right? They want the best. They want to bring out the best. They want to be supportive. They want to be the cheerleader. They want to be all of that, right? And unfortunately, those people know this, Libra. They know this and they take advantage. Okay. And so that's one thing that I wanted to make clear, is that Saturn energy is bringing this forth for you guys to understand so you could end these cycles too. So if that's what the lesson has to be learned for this week, where Saturn went direct, or you actually learned it throughout Saturn retrograde, then that's beautiful. Then you know that. And then you know what you don't want, and you know that, hey, I'm going to only attract what I want. Okay. From now on. All right. Okay, so since we have some beautiful people from the actual club on right now, I'm going to pull some cards for you guys since you guys are part of the Starseed Club. And you guys get a free card pull anytime I go live and do readings. All right, so we have J-Lo first, Miss J-Lo. Yes, Libras are very loving, and that's why people take advantage, unfortunately. All right, Miss J-Lo, precious time. Precious time. This is coming from the fairy deck. So the fairies collectively want you to take time for yourself. Okay, fairy time, fairy energy, which is yours, of course, to experience everything as well as every moment fully, okay? Taking time, slowing down, smelling the roses if you still have them. Mine are still alive. They're not winterized yet. They haven't been like, oh, I'm gonna not, bloom yet. And then, of course, being mindful not to waste your time with other people's time. So being mindful not to waste your energy within other people's problems type of thing. I keep hearing like Don't waste your time with them. Let them learn what they need to learn. Give them advice and then just detach from the outcome, because they're either going to take it or they're going to leave it. Just detach and just tell them, you know what? I already gave you that same advice. I don't know what you're going to do now, but remember the advice I gave you before. I'm not wasting my breath anymore. I'm not wasting my time explaining things anymore to you when I've already given you the same advice. All right. So that's what it is, precious time. Making sure that your time is precious, your energy is precious, and not having it be wasted by others. Okay. So that's what I have for you, J Lo. You just J Lo says you just my Libra moved to tea and spilled it all over. Aw, you guys. All right, so moving on, we have Miss Mara and then Chloe. So Mara, let's see what you got. Fairy spotting. Fairy spotting. So it's kind of like you looking for fairies. Okay, so going out and about, like out like anywhere, like in nature in particularly. And if you see the little orbs, like the little shiny orbs that you probably saw on my videos already, that's fairy spotting and looking for them and actually seeing. It's kind of like seeing and believing, of course, but more than anything, believing before you see, believing that they exist. Okay, connecting with them. um, so it's believing before you see is the nature of this particular exercise for you, so that you can start to reflect on your connection to them and listen to them even though you can't see them completely. Okay. Another thing that I'm gathering about this is a belief in the self too. It's not just the belief in fairies, but belief in the self. That's really important for you for this week. Is how to understand that your intuition and information that you're gathering is actual intuition. You know, like information that you gather, even though you think it's minimal or it doesn't really sound important, is important for you. Okay, so it's really important for you to believe in yourself and information that you're gathering, or that you are gathering information at all. Right? It's like, I think that's a like big problem for a lot of us. We doubt ourselves. We doubt that we're having these dreams. We doubt that we're having information given to us by our guides, and we doubt all this stuff, right? Because we're so hung up on seeing the extraordinary things, like the stuff that's just miraculous, and the Hollywood fireworks and all this, you know, crazy stuff, right? Instead of just being understanding that we've been always connected to creator, and we have always received messages. Okay, it's just interpretation that takes time, understanding that takes time, as well as belief in ourselves and our connection that takes time for us. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Mara. All right, for Chloe, we have, let's see, what do we have for Chloe? All right. Oh, that one just jumped right out. Okay, music. Here we go, Chloe. Got music. It's all green, by the way. Like everything in this card is green, like different shades of green. Music, listening to music because it actually has messages for you, listening to frequencies because it actually has messages for healing your body, as well as integrating higher frequencies into your body. So restructuring your cells, music and tone that hurts, you know, like meditations with the 888 hertz, or things like that, can help you with that, with cellular restructuring and cellular healing, to receive higher vibrational um, energy, okay, coming from the higher realms. Another thing is the music is about lifting your frequency and not degrading it or not dropping it down. So again, being mindful of what we listen to is super important, you guys. Not necessarily the lyrics, but what tones are overlapping. within a song. Like for example, like those pop songs that you guys hear on the radio that are really catchy, right? They have overlapping tones on purpose that manipulate your own mind into liking the music without knowing what the lyrics are saying yet, right? And then when you listen to the lyrics and you're just like, oh shit, you're appalled. You're like, what the fuck? And so that's how the music industry gets you to like music with horrible lyrics, by the way. And that, like, it's a program. It's a program and an addiction. It actually penetrates into the addictive receptors in our brain, such as like dopamine and serotonin levels and things like that, and manipulates them too. So when you correlate an emotion, say happiness and thrill and joy and things like that, you correlate it with that song. And so that's kind of like, wait, the song's lyrics, this is so horrible, like then you're like, oh shit, so you're resonating with it now. So it's important for you to be mindful of what you listen to, and to listen to stuff that is going to uplift your frequency, is going to uplift your vibration, and it's going to remove the manipulation programming that we are exposed to daily through the news, through the TV, through the radio frequencies, through music, things like that. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Chloe. All right. All right, guys. So that's what I have for you guys. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys for this week. Remember, Saturn is in direct, and everything that you worked so hard with, all the lessons that you've learned during Saturn retrograde, be thankful for them and grateful for them, and understanding that these are only making you stronger and a better person, and establishing you much more deeper into your journey. Okay, so that's all I have. Love you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye bye.